Hello and welcome to Star Citizen Sunday with me, Ryan, aka Sifu Messiah. This is a weekly show which covers everything from the world of Star Citizen over the past week. Links can be found in the description for everything we discuss, so let's get on with it. So this week, Chris Roberts is back with possibly my favourite 10 for the Chairman. We hear more about Nix in Around the Verse, plus there's something else. What was it? Ah yes, 2.0 is now live! Just want to start with a huge thank you to Terrible Username, like it, who has become our latest patron. Thank you so much for helping support Star Citizen Sunday. I have recently updated our Patreon rewards and goals to better reflect our direction. Things like Star Citizen package giveaways and private gaming sessions with me would be a good way to thank you all for helping the channel. Follow the Patreon link in the description if you would like to help. If you are still to sign up to the RSI website, please use my referral code as shown on screen or in the description, and you will receive 5,000 United Earth credits which can be spent in the Voyager Direct store for your ships, your character, or whatever you choose. You don't have to spend anything to sign up. It's only once you pledge that I'll be granted an RP point, which will get me some little rewards in the future. So as I said earlier, that the 10 for the Chairman is probably my favourite. There were some great questions, and obviously the answers that followed were just as great. So the first one is, what are the plans for locking the ship? Can we leave the ship with security? And he says yes, much higher than what we see so far. Obviously, currently, if you just have your ship on the landing pad or anywhere, anyone can access it. This is not how it's going to be in the final product. They are using 2.0 to see what people actually do and then adjust things where needed, so you can't be griefed, etc. Your ship will be keyed to you, and you can choose who enters and who doesn't. There will be some form of breaking the locks or breaking the seal, maybe hacking the system to get in, which will come with further iterations, but once they get locking in, it'll be tuned from there and it'll be very exciting, and you'll be able to decide who comes in and who you leave on the doorstep. So the next question is, will it be possible to jury rig repairs using components from other systems to get your ship limping home under its own power? Also, will there be a skill system in place that would reflect the ability of the player to repair the various ship systems? And he says you will be able to repair components, you can change out capacitors, etc. Things will have blown, so they'll need replacing. He says you will be able to perform minimal repairs, maybe EVA and seal an area to carry on going. It'll be small, personal sort of style, and if you take damage on a constellation, for example, someone may have to run back to the engine room to stop the reactors from overheating and exploding, for example, maybe taking the safeties off and bringing the power down to 50%. You'll also be able to change out things like conduits just to keep them going. So it will be great fun in multi-crew ships, but proper fixing will require maybe a crucible or an NPC repair station. Again, 2.0 is a prototype placeholder. It will be far more in-depth than that. Now, a repair shop, maybe an NPC repair shop, will give you a timescale and a price for repair, and then you decide whether it's worth it or not. Skill-wise, when it comes to repairing skills, it is more based on how good you are as a player at that task, and also, obviously, what equipment you have and you are using. So it's not, you don't rank up in skill, it's just about how well you can do it. Now, NPCs will have their own RPG stats to determine how good they are. Some will be better, some will be worse, and again, it'll be reflected in their payment. Big ships, he says, will likely carry surplus items for repairing or replacing, so before you set out, be sure to make sure you have a couple of crates worth of different supplies, different components, just in case you do take some damage. Anyway, next question. Will there be dynamic weather on planets? And also, could a player sitting in orbit see clouds moving, lightning flashes, or surface lights that become visible as the planet enters the night cycle? And he says yes, it's been considered and it will be more of a longer term goal. They will be showing something in the upcoming live stream on the 16th, they say. It isn't this, but it does allow us to see the potential. What that means, I don't know. Weather won't be on day one of release. It's likely we will see day-night cycles, but the rest will likely come later. He says there's just more important stuff to do now, which is understandable. Anyway, next question. Would there be a type of automatic battle flight pattern for those operating as a solo player which would fly in a loop, allowing the pilot to jump on the guns? And he says it's not been discussed, but it's not a bad idea. Again, it's not at the top of the list, and they want people to ultimately play together, but you could always hire an NPC to fly it for you, or even man your gun. They may implement a defensive circle system, but the first push is working with friends, and then after that it'll be AI. Then they'll see what they decide further down the line. So, moving on. What will living spaces be good for? Is there a particular game mechanic? Now, obviously, if you have a bed, you can save the game in space and leave rather than having to land on a planet. This is obviously a big game aspect in itself and is probably the main reason for having beds on ships. But he also says the rest is for some level of light role-playing. He wants to allow you to role-play as much as or as little as you want. Now, when it comes to eating or drinking, it may give you a slight boost, but it won't be to the level of DayZ, so you won't need to eat or drink drink and so forth. It'll just maybe, if you drink a coffee, it'll give you a bit more of it'll probably allow you to move quicker, or, you know, just give you a little perk. Also, if you don't take a shower for a month, he says it's still to be determined, then maybe NPCs may not want to talk to you, they may turn their nose up at you, and it'll just give more of an in-depth feeling to the game. But it won't be that you have to eat 3 times a day and you have to sleep every day or anything like that. It's just light level of role-playing. Anyway, next question, and possibly my favourite. Will there be any horror stories? For example, Alien, Pandorium, Event Horizon, or Pitch Black. Stories to help reinforce the vastness of space and add fragility to the players. And Chris says absolutely with wide eyes. He said it's a big goal to have a lot of locations and a great level of detail. Things like derelicts you come across, there may be an alien organism which could attack you. And he also says that once planetary landings are in, you could have a pitch black scenario where you could get attacked from some alien or animal wildlife on that planet. Also, he says, like when exploring or salvaging, you may find aliens or you may find pirates, or ultimately there may be nothing on board, but you won't know until you've explored it. So it won't just be a mission like Dead Space where you automatically know there's going to be something horrendous on board. It's going to be more atmospheric, where you'll be walking around, checking the place, maybe finding data logs explaining why the crew is no longer there, maybe not. There may be no one on board and nothing on board, or there may be a group of aliens waiting for you because they're hungry. Who knows, but very exciting and definitely one of the most anticipated parts of Star Citizen that I'm looking forward to. Anyway, next question. How will pirate insurance work? Now, he says that there will be some pirate world type of insurance company, just like the UEE style, where you will respawn back on a pirate planet instead. They don't want people to abuse the insurance, but they don't want it to be a penalty too great. You may lose so much, but not everything. And they put insurance in so that if people did lose the ship, they didn't want it to just be instantly lost and then you have nothing to play with. But nor do they want the Aurora pirate to just instantly start ramming their ships into everyone else's, because they know they can get theirs back super quick. So there's a lot of balancing, and they are figuring out a way to see it as balanced as possible. Our playing and testing will reveal the best way, and 2.0 is like a gold mine, he says, to see patterns and etc. and just sort of see how people play with their ships. And as said, he will balance it out so that it's perfect, basically. So the final question is, will there be a smaller style mining ship, as currently there's only the huge Orion or multi-crew ships? Now, he says yes, there are plans to have smaller mining vehicles and equipment. It won't just be the Orion, but that will allow you to mine on much greater scales. Now, there will be smaller ship equipment and eventually ships, he says, and the same will go for salvaging and reclaiming. You'll have smaller single-person salvagers rather than the huge ones we know that require multiple people. Anyway, that was 10 for the chairman. Please tell me your thoughts. So on to Around the Verse episode 2.10. Sandy and Ben mentioned there is the live stream, the holiday live stream on the 16th of December. They say there'll be some reveals and some new information. Very excited for that. Straight on to news from Around the Verse, starting with the LA CIG office. They're working on fixing the Constellation. They said getting it ready for 2.0, which is obviously now launched, so the Connie should be fixed. They said the Reliant should be hangar ready for the next release. They did say that some areas of it will clearly be work in progress, so do bear that in mind. Also, they're doing a balance pass for 2.0, especially the EMP. There'll be a balance for the next patch too. So on to Austin, Texas. So they're working on animation on ships and ship weapons. In particular, the ships are the Freelancer, the Jean Scout, and the Vanguard. They will be coming online soon, they say, and also 2 new ship weapons too. They're also iterating on the shopping design as well, which I think shopping will be coming with the next patch also. So Foundry 42 in Frankfurt, they say they're working on AI, especially ship AI issues. Also worked on the FPS AI encounter interaction, which has been sorted out. Designer working on the smuggling career. I cannot wait to see a design post on that. They're finalising work on Size 4 Apocalypse Arms Gatling gun. They're refining the cinematic pipeline to increase the quality and the speed of it, and they're also working on core elements, which we will see shortly. Now, after that, we spoke with Tony Zurovec for the interview part number 2, and this time he was talking quite in detail about Nix, which should be showing up after shopping. Now, the next patch we get for 2.0 will be 2.1, and that is Kasaba Outlet and shopping and so forth. After that, the 2.2 should be Nix. They say it's been done for a while. The Bazaar area is now being finished, and it should be done fairly soon. They're refining and tweaking before the release, obviously, to get it to the highest standard that they expect and they want. Again, we will access Nix via the magical elevator. This is still a short-term method. We will be able to travel to the systems later on. He says now Nix is interesting as you have 3 different areas. You have the main area, which is well maintained with law and order, people walking around shopping. Lots of hints to it being within an asteroid, which you will see as a running theme throughout Nix. The next area is sort of moving down the corridors and passageways where you'll find the more dangerous zones. Not used much by civilians, more questionable types. There is no security, it's fallen into disrepair, and the lights and things and doors aren't working, the flickering and so forth. It looks similar to Area 1, but it's not as maintained. Now the third area is the excavation areas. Now these were decades earlier used as mining areas, which was brought to a halt after surveys revealed difficulties. This is where you will find more of a shady populace, the sort of politically radical type people, and it would be very dangerous to venture down these areas. So in these areas there are also no ladders, no stairs, no lights. It's a very natural feel. It's a playground where they can put wanted felons and criminals. More the sort of areas you'll find illicit trading areas, so it will be more of a rustic type place. Now also with the Nix milestones, they'll be able to route purchases other than just onto your person. So if you buy an item from somewhere, you can send it to your hangar or to your ship or to the Million Mile High Club if you remember. Nix, when it comes to shopping, does have the same sort of formal commercial shops like on Area 18, but then you go into the bazaar area with more nomadic merchants, and there's no set times as to when they're there, so if you see something it's best to pick it up. You will find items you won't see in more established stores, and in the bazaar you may find cases of liquor, seeds to plant and grow your crops, decorative items, including things like plants, food for consuming, and souvenirs. Now, a lot of these things like seeds may be the black market style seeds, potentially. I'm not too sure about that, but I would have thought they'd be for growing narcotics and so forth. Also, there'll be a certain style of clothing there you can probably buy yourself, and also mission information like maps, where you could find potential treasure. You should, he says, make the rounds to every seller to see what they have each day, because it will vary from day to day, so it's definitely worth checking out. After Nix, planets like Hurston, Crusader, and then Microtech will appear. AI will appear in bits and pieces to test, but there will be a milestone leap, and he says they're like to try out 80 to 100 NPCs into a landing zone and keep the fidelity and smoothness that we see in Area 18. He says they have made lots of progress with problems they're facing, and he says that they're going to kick the current 25 players we see in Area 18 and up it to 40. He says things are looking amazingly good. Anyway, from there, Jared sat down with Rob Reniger, who is the senior tech designer, and again, sticking with the theme of Nix, he's just showing us the ways that they created it. Now, there isn't much of a reveal here, as he says that they want to hold off on showing too much, just so that it's a nice experience for when we get there, so we haven't seen it all already. Now, we saw the grid to ensure that the layout is ready before building, as it just saves money and time rather than going off and having to reiterate it every 2 minutes. The Grand Bazaar for Nix is this one. It's a hollowed out asteroid converted into a shopping hub. It's sort of a flea market feel, homegrown, homemade, etc., so you can get homebrewed beer and so forth. You enter from the top looking down into the market, which is going to be a great view. As you pass each sort of cart, you will hear salesmen giving their spiel, trying to attract customers. The main shops will be connected to the shopping area. Like we can see here, there's a medical unit. There's also Conscientious Objects, which is another shop pretty much like Cubby Blast but without the high-end military tag, the more refurbished weapons. There's Cordry's Armour, where you can buy things like oxygen extenders for your suits, etc. They will have a maintenance area near the landing pads, which we will speak about in a second. Now, the sort of local bar or cafe is Cafe Musain. Again, it's a local hollowed out bar within an asteroid. There's seating areas, there's booths, there's even a private area at the back which used to be storage and is now sort of a back room where you can find the ne'er-do-wells. It's a nice open bar theme, very much like the one in Star Wars. Now, Conscientious Objects will have weapons cabinets. Also, it's a multi-tier area, so there'll be different levels. In Cordry's, they had many different layouts. We can see all the different ones here, just so they can settle on one that they wanted. Now, the maintenance area, as mentioned before, is more of a small area, like a kiosk, where you would go and request repairs, and then they will head out to your ship. You don't land in that area and then get them to repair it. It's a very nice little kiosk where you can just see someone sitting around. The med unit will have back rooms for respawning. The front room will be more of a seating area with vending machines. There's a list of props for each area that they are creating. Again, these will be modular to save time. And as said before, they are holding off and showing everything because they want us to experience it and have a good time. So back to Sandy and Ben. The most valuable post goes to Jim for his P72 commercial. There is a link in the description to check it out. And also the sneak peek is the Freelancer rework again, which means we must be getting close to seeing it finished. Very excited. Anyway, tell me your thoughts. I'm very excited for Nix. Cannot wait to be exploring the new area. What did you like? What didn't you like? So, as you have probably heard, the Star Citizen Alpha 2.0 is now live to everyone. It is a very exciting time. Be sure to open your launcher and update it as soon as you can. It is quite a hefty download, so get it started as early as possible. Now, with 2.0, you will spawn in Port Olisar, which is a station within the Crusader system, and it's also the safe zone where weapons are deactivated, so there can be no grieving, no random killing on sight. From there, you will head into the control room or the ship request room, and using a screen there, choose the ship that you own, and it will tell you which which landing pad it is on. So follow the signs to get into the landing pad. You have to go through an airlock. But once you leave Port Olisar, you will have a little notification that you are leaving the Armistice Zone, and then yours and everyone else's weapons will be activated. So do be careful. From Port Olisar, you have multiple choices of locations to travel to. To start with, there are 8 Comoré missions, and if you press F9, you can bring them up and highlight them as a mission, so it tells you which location to go to first. These will involve things like dogfighting and EVA. There are 8 research missions involving protecting civilians or recovering lost data. There's also 1 exploration mission of an abandoned station, very eerie. 20 plus random encounters, mostly they're dogfighting, but often with a mix of friendlies and hostiles. Also 4 of them are random exploration missions involving finding lost wrecks, which will be very exciting. I'm still to do that myself. Now do bear in mind that many of these missions are activated by completing the Comoré missions themselves. So in order to have them active as a mission, you need to switch on the Comorés, and then that'll allow more communications to come in and you'll receive the information on where these wrecks may be, so forth. Now also with 2.0, it is the first iteration of FPS combat. There is a dedicated PvP zone known as Security Post Korea. Landing there is very dangerous and exploring it is even more so be sure to get inside and grab yourself an assault rifle. If you press the number 1 button, this will bring up your laser pistol. Number 2, if you have an assault rifle, will bring that up, and J is to holster them. Do bear in mind, this is not the only place that FPS combat can happen. Anywhere outside the Armistice Zone, if you are in EVA or so forth, if someone boards your ship, you will be able to shoot them. Spaceflight has had a revamp too. You now have Precision Mode for intricate maneuvering, SCM or Space Combat Maneuvering for your more tactical dogfighting ability, which we are pretty much used to now. And also Cruise Mode, which is sort of a bridge between quantum travel and normal flight, allowing you to travel around 1,000 meters a second, depending on your ship. To cycle between these different modes, you press V, and if you are wanting to quantum travel, press B. You can travel to anywhere you like, but if you do just head off without a location highlighted, you could end up in the middle of nowhere, so just bear that in mind. Also, if you take damage or you need to refuel or replenish your ammo, then head over to the CryAngine refueling station. These are pretty cool. You land and little bots will come and repair you. Again, the first iteration of repair, we know it will be so much more detailed in the future. There is more to do and more to see, so just take your time with it, enjoy it, but do bear in mind that this is just the start of it all. There will be more coming online with each new patch. This is practically the test bed to balance everything, so to make sure it's all working correctly. Don't take this as the final product, and if you get shot or blown up, then so be it. Don't get so angry, because this is still not the final product. It's not how it will work in the verse. Also, in regards to FPS or first-person shooting, it's not as smooth as they have planned for the main game. It is again the first iteration, so treat it as so. It will be a bit glitchy at times, but this is why we're here to help them balance it out. Anyway, this is a very, very exciting milestone for Star Citizen's development, and I highly recommend getting into 2.0 and just seeing it for yourself, just spending time getting used to the controls, getting used to the FPS and so forth, so just enjoy it. So also this week there was a new portfolio post which details an in-game company, and this time it was the Apocalypse Arms, who are well known for their mass drivers. We saw a new Kaizen post titled Government Spending, which I have not yet read, but do check it out. CIG also wanted to highlight that they are on the social media and have provided links to their Facebook, their Instagram, their Twitter, etc, etc. Also, they've supplied the links to the devs' Twitter accounts for those that are happy to be followed. Be sure to follow them if you are interested, and also my Twitter handle should be on the screen now, so do follow us at the same time. This month's subscriber flare is the charming Aurora LN Takeitsu hangar model. It is very sweet and nice to see that their basic ships are getting some attention again. And finally, the monthly report is available too, so do read it. Don't forget to check out our affiliates page for some great deals on tech and stuff. Any product bought gives us a little kickback. If you want to support us more directly, then follow the link to our Patreon page. Thank you. On a quick side note, I just want to bring some attention to a Star Citizen community website called redacted.tv. It's a great place to get all the news on Star Citizen, and also check out some other YouTubers or Twitch streamers. Highly recommend signing up. The link is in the description. So that brings us to the end of the show. Thank you for watching, and thank you to our subscribers, plus a massive thank you to our patrons as you make this possible. If you like what we do and want to help us make it better, follow the link in the description to our Patreon page to learn more.
To those who find this, know that my journey has ended. It was finding my way here that made the path worth taking. I am glad that I can be part of your story too. Share it well, and safe travels.